All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I am so excited to be back with all of you today. And joining me is Pam Cass. Hello, Pam. How are you?
I am fantastic. I think because of a couple of things. First of all, we just realized this is our last recording of 2025.
Oh, I was like, what year are you in?
I was like, what year is this? 2025. I do know the year.
Yes.
But also I'm in a 3-day speaker training. So we had the first day today. And of course, that first day when you're with, it was like 40 plus people, all full of energy and just incredible. I'm like ramped up right now. I don't know. I've got like all this energy. So I'm super excited to be here. And of course we have a guest. So I always love when you have a guest because our last podcast was just the two of us, which is always fun. So.
It was fun because if you all missed it or didn't listen to it, we were talking about our upcoming Reignite Live that's happening in Loveland, Colorado on January 22nd. I'm going to keep talking about it. So if you see me anywhere between now when you're listening to this and January 22nd of 2026, just know I'm going to talk to you about Reignite Live. We're super excited about it. Amazing lineup, amazing sponsors and vendors that are coming out. And of course, yours truly and Pam and guest speaker Rachel Jane Groover will be joining us. So yeah. Go back and listen to that episode if you skipped it.
Yeah. So if you literally want to meet us in person because you are just wildly interested in what we are in person, how tall we are. That's always what I'm always like, wow, you're much taller or much shorter than I thought you were. But
That's so cute. I have never been told that I'm much taller than people had anticipated.
No, I'm always, you're so tiny. I'm like, thanks. Thank you.
I am probably true to size of what you would imagine in a video Zoom box.
Oh my God.
Well, we do have a guest, as Pam mentioned, and I do not want to waste another moment. I want to dive right in because they have a fabulous story to share. When we talk about overcoming adversity, this individual has definitely done so. So Pam, why don't you tell our listeners who's joining us today?
Absolutely. So today we have Jeff Luther. He is a speaker and coach who built his life after surviving cardiac arrest during a workout in front of his teenage son. He now helps business owners, founders, and high performers lead with clarity, purpose, and action. Jeff lives in South Carolina with his 3 kids and is currently offering 50 free coaching sessions to support anyone ready to take the next step. Welcome, Jeff. We are so excited to have you with us today. And I'm just going to pass it to you because that's a pretty incredible event to have happen. And then to have it happen in front of your child, that's amazing. Share with us your story.
Yeah. So now I'm nervous, Pam. You said you're coming off this class and you're all amped up. I'm like, all right, y'all are pretty high strung already. Like your energy is infectious. It's fun.
We are.
Welcome. Just don't worry, Jeff. Somehow you get tangled up in it and you just enjoy the ride. Here we are.
Just be sure and buckle up. You forgot to tell that part.
For sure.
That was funny. You're like, if you want to come out and see how tall we are.
Yes. What other questions would they want to know about us?
Right. Yeah. That's what everyone. Oh, we should go see how tall they are. We'll go out there next week.
Totally.
That's what I imagine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So sudden cardiac arrest. And I'll tell you kind of the first part of the story is on Saturday, June the 5th, I ran I'm a reformed ultrarunner. So Saturday the 5th, I ran a 50K and it was my first overnight race and I came in second place. So like I'm a fit dude and I have to tell you that to build my ego. That helps my ego.
Thank you.
And then the next Saturday, I'm doing a CrossFit workout. I'm with my 16-year-old son Saturday morning, and I died. Like I went into ventricular fibrillation. I was out for 8 minutes, no pulse, no breath, shocked with an AED 3 times. The first 2 times did not work. And And that brought me back to life. Yeah. And when it happened, I woke up and I was like, why is everybody standing around? And are we going to finish the workout? Like, what gives? And I knew something was up. I knew something was happening. I've been having heart issues, not heart issues. I've been having issues when I run and longer runs. And this is June. I live in Charleston, South Carolina. So the heat, the humidity. And during these long runs, I would get winded and I would have to sit down and take breaks. And I'm like, that's not like me. One of my favorite things is to run in the heat, you know, and I enjoy it. And I went to a cardiologist and said, man, you know, something's not right. So just to shorten the story, he said, hey, look at you. You're in great shape. You're fine. We put you on a stress test. You passed. You're amazing. You're fine. Don't worry about it. So I didn't worry about it. I went back to it. And on this particular Saturday, my son and I were partners working out. He was 16 at the time. And for any of your listeners, or if you guys know, like in a high intensity interval training workout, if you have a partner, a couple of things. One, you work really close with your partner. So you have to count their reps. They count yours. You have to know when they're tired, when they take a break. So you're really close. You can count their breaths almost. So you know what's going on with them. And then another thing is if you get a little bit of an edge on your partner, like if you're in a little bit better shape or you have a movement that's better than them, then you could really hurt them exercise wise. So I was burying my son and it was amazing. And that's like the last time it'll ever happen. So yeah. I have to put that in there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I usually add, I have 3 boys, and I usually add that my youngest son is my favorite son. So I was working out with my son that's not my favorite. So
Okay.
We don't have favorites, but
no.
My youngest kid is always like, hey, will you say I'm your favorite?
Of course.
So we were doing wall balls, and I would do 10 and he would do 10. I would do 10, he would do 10. And then all of a sudden I felt my heart rate increase in my neck, and it's just pounding. And I knew that little episode or whatever was coming on. So I stopped. I'm holding my wall ball and I wait and it'll go away. And it just didn't go away. It's like, oof, this is not going away. You know, maybe I should take a knee. So I did. I took a knee and still it didn't go away. I was like, oh my gosh. And so I'm sitting now on 2 knees, kind of slouched down, holding this ball. And there's a guy that was beside me in the rack lifting, and he put his hand on my shoulder. And I'm one of those people I want my space. And as soon as he put his hand on my shoulder, I'm like, man, thinking I'm scared, I'm vulnerable, don't really know what's happening. Just get your hand off me. And then it got worse. And so I was immediately like, whoa, hey, I'm scared, I'm vulnerable, I don't know what's happening. Please don't let me go. Just don't take your hand off me. And then it got worse. It's like, I've got to lie down. So I just kind of rolled over onto the side of my face on the gym floor. And the last thing that I saw was my son's shoes walking towards me. And I was like, I've got to get up. I've got to get up. And it's not like in the movies, the good guy gets shot like 62 times and he's bleeding and he can crawl over to the gun and save the girl. I couldn't move. Like the signal was there, but it was like I had no hydraulic fluid. And I knew that I had to move and I couldn't. And I was just out. I went out.
And Jeff, are we talking moments, minutes? Like, was this a 10-minute time frame, or like, do you know?
Probably 90 seconds. I would say somewhere between 60 to 90 seconds, this whole thing transpired.
Wow.
Super.
I'll give you the scientific piece is my heart went into ventricular fibrillation. So it just quivers. It doesn't beat. So my heart still was functional, but it wouldn't beat. So that's the sudden cardiac arrest part. Then my heart stopped. So that's the sudden cardiac death part. So the two are different. And usually mine ends in death.
And how long ago was this that this happened?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay. And since then?
Well, so I have a surprise in the story.
Okay.
How about that?
Buckle up. Okay.
I'm literally like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, okay, and what is this?
I woke up and I woke up screaming. That's one of the weirdest things. And I can still hear the scream. And I don't know if that's what woke me up or if I woke up and then scream, but the doctors say your body, there's an electrical charge when your body comes back online or whatever they called it. But I woke up and the coach was standing over me. And the first thing I noticed, well, one, I was soaking wet. They covered me in ice. And then I noticed I had this horrible taste in my mouth. Like, the best way to describe it is like a really, really bad hangover. Like the first time you get really drunk and you're sick, and then you have that hangover, that horrible taste. And it was like that. And I couldn't piece the night together from the night before, but I remembered everything that morning. So my first thought was, I must have gotten drunk last night and then showed up at this workout today. So I told the coach, I was like, oh my gosh, I bet I smell like alcohol. I'm so sorry. And he's going, no, you don't get it. Like, paramedics are here. We shocked you. It wasn't alcohol. And then I started kind of coming to and seeing everything that was going on around me. But remember that taste. So when I tell you about that taste, just remember that. So I came to, I sat up and I really was thinking, I just fainted, guys. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go finish this workout. And I was looking for my son, he was at that point, he wasn't there. He was already gone. So I did the ambulance, and I was inconvenienced by an ambulance ride. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do anything. I was fine.
Just adamant that it was a waste of time, waste of money. Like, what are we doing? What's happening?
That's right.
Yep. Good. Let me finish the workout.
Yeah.
So ridiculous, right?
It's
and I had a birthday party to go to. So I did not need to be bothered with this.
You don't have time for this.
Yeah.
thing.
Wow.
So go to the hospital. I'm there 3 days, and they finally diagnosed me. And this, there was all these tests, and part of this was the indignity of assuming it was drug use. So there was a lot of, did you use drugs? How much pre-workout did you take? What have you been doing? So there was that. And then they diagnosed me with ARVC, is arrhythmogenic right ventricular cardiomyopathy. So it's genetic, and it's a signal. My signal is bad, and it's exacerbated with exercise. So in this diagnosis, I was told I could no longer exercise. So that's what was killing me.
Oh, wow.
And like a healthy heart, the muscle expands and contracts, and then it builds it. And that's why doctors encourage you to exercise. With mine, when the muscle fibers tear or expand, they get infiltrated with fat and scar tissue. So that is what messes up my electrical signal.
Got it.
And then, of course, the more you do that, the worse it gets. So in the hospital, I got a defibrillator implanted. And they sent me on my way, and I had, it's considered surgery. So I can't do anything strenuous for 30 days. So 30 days goes by, and I did what any smart male athlete would do. I go back to the gym.
Yep. Not enough.
I spoke a little too fast. You could have guessed it. Yeah.
Shocking.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Pardon the pun, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That wasn't intentional. I promise.
Yeah, so that's another piece. In the 8 minutes, here's kind of what happened when I was out is same thing. They thought that I had fainted, passed out. It's June in Charleston. I'm in a metal building with no AC, and they thought I'd fainted. So they kind of slap you around trying to get you to come to. Then there was an ice machine there at that particular gym. So they go get a bucket of ice, and they're putting ice on me to try to cool me down. And then I was fortunate. I was fortunate in a lot of ways, but I was fortunate that the director of safety for our aquarium here in Charleston was there doing a workout. And she thought, maybe we should take a pulse. So took a pulse. I had no pulse, no breath. And then so they started doing chest compressions. And then someone said defibrillator. So they had an AED there. They go get the defibrillator, put that on me. And the way that thing works is you have to have some sort of electrical signal for the AED to detect and then shock you into a good rhythm. Well, when it put the defibrillator on me, I had no signal at all. There was nothing. So it just says give compressions. And then it found a signal and it shocked me. And so a couple of things. One, just like the movies, when it shocks you, you raise up off the ground. So my son told me that. And then it also gives an audible flat line, just like on the movies. So my son heard that. And then the people at the gym, they're like, oh my gosh, he's dead. And he heard all of that. And just a little plug about the CrossFit community in general. What they did next was everybody stood around me and then blocked my son so that he couldn't see what was happening, which I thought was cool. And that kept on. So this was about 8 minutes, and it tried to detect a rhythm again and didn't. So they kept giving chest compressions. Then it found rhythm and shocked me, and the same thing happened. And then the third time is when I came back. So that fills in that gap. And people, 8 minutes is a really long time to go without oxygen. And then my heart rate registered on the AED is like 386 beats a minute. So it just quivers.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like what saved me is it would quiver, and then they were doing chest compressions. So that would move oxygen through my body. And then I think I probably kind of came in and out of breathing throughout this process. That's how my 8 minutes in wherever I was spent.
Wow. Do you remember any of that period, that 8 minutes?
No, but I need to make up a really good story
You totally
to tell.
should. We won't tell anybody.
Wherever you went, whatever you saw, we'll believe it. You just let us know.
Yeah, no one would know. I need to make that story up. No, it was nothing. It was like, it really was like someone turned the lights out and then they came and turned them back on. Nothing, no excitement.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there could be something there that I just don't remember. Or maybe I've chosen not to remember. I'm not interested in investigating it. I don't think.
Good. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So Jeff, I still have the hangover taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
Where does that come back in?
Yeah. So 30 days, I do what any sane person would do. I go back to the gym. My son wanted to see me. He wanted to see me work out. He needed that.
He needed that. Yes.
Yeah. So I go back to the gym, and the first thing, it happens again. First thing, except this time when it happened, I knew that I was dying. Not like I knew I would like spaghetti before I tried it.
Yeah.
Like I actively knew. And I had that taste. I started to get faint, and then I had that taste, and I was like, oh, that's the taste of death. I know that taste. And that spiraled me. It terrified me. I became paralyzed with fear. I went from invincible and the doctors are wrong and I'll beat this thing to what am I going to do? I can't take a shower. I didn't want to take a shower because I didn't want to be in a bathroom alone. Who would find me? I wouldn't drive. I was scared to go up steps because I was scared it was going to happen again. And the second time was for 46 seconds. Like now with this defibrillator, it tells me, it tracks all the data. And it was 46 seconds. Well, the ICD doesn't shock you until it tracks your heart rate. You have to be in bad rhythm for a minute, and then it spools, and then it shocks you. So it never shocked me. So now I thought it was defective.
Oh,
yes. I was like, y'all gave me this, like you bought this at a yard sale and put it in my body. And it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So that was part of the psychological piece of it was terrorizing too. But knowing that I actively was dying, then it all became real.
Right.
That put me in a really dark place. And I was angry and I was bitter, and exercise had been taken from me. I wasn't, they told me I couldn't exercise, and I had no idea what I was going to do.
It was like stripping away a part of who you were, which was those ultra marathons, the working out, the things that, part of your life.
And I hope no one ever has to take me to task on this, but when we fall, and I fell pretty hard, when we fall, our ego falls faster and further than we do. And I couldn't let go of my ego. Just, Pam, to everything you just said, I couldn't let go. I didn't know. It wasn't on purpose. I just couldn't separate the two. I couldn't let go. So it just drug me down with it.
And your son is there in this moment, the second time it happens, right? The 46 seconds.
Right.
Is he aware of what's going on?
Kinda. He says that he knew something was up, but I did what every high performer or entrepreneur or founder or whatever does. I said I was fine.
Fine.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm just fine.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We're all fine.
As a side note, I will tell you that in that instant, like, people always talk about when you die, and I've heard people say, oh, hell is dying and meeting the person you could have become, or hell is dying and seeing the things you could have accomplished. Or when you die, you think about the things that you could have created or could have made or who you could have been. in those 46 seconds, I didn't think about or care about any of that. There was a girl next to me. The coach was there. I just wanted to touch her. I just wanted to touch her arm. I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to turn around and hug my son.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. Because then I would be admitting I was scared. I wouldn't be in control. I wouldn't have it all together. But for those 46 seconds, I denied myself that last little bit of life that I had. And I denied like the ultimate success as a human, connection.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wow. And Jeff, have you and your favorite son had opportunities to talk about this, like just the experience that he's witnessed twice now, and just the emotional piece and the connection, just in terms of y'all's relationship? What does that look like, and that conversation look like?
This isn't the favorite son. This was the middle son.
This is right.
Favorite
Yeah.
son.
Favorite son got left. Okay, sorry.
He wasn't.
There we go. Sorry. Yes.
It's all right.
I missed that piece. Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, actually, that's a great question. So we went through life for the next 6 months or so. Are you okay? Yeah, good. Do you want to talk about what happened? No. You good? Good. So, and this is just like some experience share for your audience. I knew he was not okay, but I wasn't willing to ask the question. I didn't want to hear that my son was broken and I couldn't fix him. I didn't want to hear that there was work that needed to be done on him while I was still trying to heal myself, which I, regret's a strong word, but I wish I would have done something different sooner.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately I did, but yeah, it took another episode for that to come about.
Okay. So let's talk about the next episode.
Yeah. So the next episode that went on for about 6 months. You good? Yep. I'm good. And me dancing around, not exercising and kind of giving up and trying to figure out what I was going to do. And he was wrestling at the time. So we had an out-of-state wrestling meet that he and I went to. And in this match, it was his match with another kid. The kid got his arm broken. And it's not like, they were wrestling, he broke his arm. It was total accident. He just got turned funny and they rolled over and it broke his arm. Well, it was a hyperextension. So it looked horrible. And my son, who's like a loving, caring, soft kid, just lost it. And so he saw the kid's arm and he started screaming and he just drops to the mat and he was banging his head on the mat. And I had to come out of the stands and grab my son. So I grab him and I'm trying to get him to just calm down and get it together. And I turned him around and I was like, Cash, he's going to be okay. Hey, can you hear me? And he was looking straight through me. And finally I just grabbed him. I said, Cash, do you trust me? Do you trust me? And I was trying to get his eyes to meet my eyes. And he finally just looked at me and said, Dad, I can't hear the sirens. I was like, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And I had to make that connection and walk him back through. This was obviously, a couple of days later, but I had to walk him back through everything. Hey, tell me about that. Tell me about the sirens. What do they mean to you? Well, I didn't know. He had been carrying this for 6 months, that every time he heard sirens, he didn't know if they were coming to get me if he wasn't with me. But that's something I hope that someone takes from this, that I could have done something sooner. I could have asked a better question that I was afraid to ask.
Right.
Well, but you were also in the muck itself. I mean, you were going through the same thing. So for you to have missed it is probably pretty understandable.
Yeah. And thank you. And I do try to give myself that same grace also. But, we beat ourselves up better than anyone else.
100%.
Oh, yeah. That's what we do. We're great at it.
Yes.
Professionals.
Yeah. Right.
Should have done more, known better, all the things, right? It's all of the shitting on ourselves that we should have, whatever, fill in the blank. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, I think in having that moment to at least recognize it, that's that pivotal moment, right? That's the moment that you'll remember is there on the mat. Unfortunately, it was going through this experience, but it brought you to this point where you could actually have that heartfelt conversation, that honest and transparent conversation with one another. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny, I've thought it over and over, and it's funny that was the catalyst for resurrecting that trauma. I guess he knew that an ambulance was coming, whereas in most circumstances, you just start hearing it. You don't know that it's coming.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the thing with triggers, is that you never know what it is and when it can pop up. You don't know what they all are and what it'll bring up for you. Goodness. But that was that the episode that you had, or are you in good health and staying away from the gym per doctor's orders?
Oh, wow. Yeah. You're going to make me really expose myself here.
We should just send this to your cardiologist and let them know.
So I had to figure it out. I had a choice. Like, I had a choice. I could die living or live dying. And what I mean by that, I had permission to just sit on the couch. So I could die living on the couch, or I could live dying on the couch, just sitting on the couch. And I chose to die living. I was like, I've got to do something, because you have these things in life that you enjoy, and you connect with people doing them, and you share. And then you're like, well, why am I living? What? So I had some real choices to make. And when I tell my story, people do say, and you may have thought it, like, wow, you must be so grateful, or wow, you probably look at life differently. And it, like, for a good Lifetime movie, you might think, oh my gosh, you've had two additional chances at life. And you think that I would hit my knees praying every morning and crying with gratitude. But I was so angry and so bitter and such a victim that was taken from me, and my identity was taken from me, and everything, me, that I could not find gratitude. And then that sent me into depression, because I thought, Jeff, you must be the worst human in the world. You just had a miracle and you're bitter. You're such a piece of crap. And that's the story I told myself.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get out of the loop. And I do know people don't care what happens to you. And I don't mean that ugly. Like, they want to empathize, but they can't get where you are. But I know for certain that people care how you respond. And my kids were watching, and I had to respond. So I started so simple. I was like, I've got to figure this out, because I was, it's cliche. People say life is short, but life for me got really, really long for a while. And I had to do something about it. And I don't know if life is short, but I do know that death is real. Like, death is real. I now know that. So I had to start simple. And I never knew that I had an issue with gratitude. Like, gratitude is just, yeah, I'm grateful. Of course I'm grateful. I just ate and I said a prayer and thank God for the food, or whatever it is. But I looked at gratitude like this thing, like, I'm so grateful that the cat was in the tree 100 feet up, and I climbed the tree with no shoes, and a storm came and lightning struck me and I didn't die. And I'm grateful that I fell on this pot of gold. Like, it had to be this big, huge thing. And I just was like, I'm grateful that I have glasses. I'm grateful that I could take a walk with my dog. And it felt so silly, even to me, even internally. But then I started realizing, okay, well, if I'm grateful for this pen, then that's what's taking up the real estate in my head. And I can't share that real estate with being bitter about not running. And I know that, like most humans with a little bit of sense, know that, but I just didn't. Intellectually, I could have told you, well, yeah, that sounds right. I just never experienced it. I just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that people truly think about that they cannot coexist at the same time, right? When you're in that place of true gratitude and appreciation for everything, big and small, it is hard for that cynicism, the skepticism, all the doubt, whatever it is, to also have a presence or even own real estate, like you said, and you're in that space.
Yeah. That was so real to me. Like, and it's funny, Natalie, because I would fight in my mind with that. It's so crazy to think about. And one thing that I do now is I tell myself how good my life is. And like, when something's happening, when, I don't know, like this summer I was going to take a boat trip on the weekend. And as soon as, like, I was probably, I don't know, 10 minutes from the ramp, and my motor went out, it's new boat. So you're bitter, like, oh my God, now I've got this and this. It's like, dude, your life is so good. Your life is so good. Yeah. But Your life is good. And they'll fight. And it's funny how the mind works.
Well, we've got the negativity bias, and our brain just will seek out the negative. And the more you focus on it, the more it seeks it out, because it, causes clarity. It makes you, oh yeah, it's negative.
Yes.
So, so it's reprogramming our brain to look at the gratitude before we look at the negative.
Yes. And it's
hard.
harder than it.
Hard work.
Harder. Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't think
it's ongoing. You don't flip a switch and it's like, oh no, I'm grateful for everything, and I never have that negative skepticism that pops in. That doesn't happen, right? Like it's why did I stub my toe? That sucked, and it's like,
but it should happen.
Yes,
exactly.
Good.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.